Hi, everyone. Just want to let you know we're going to get started in about 1 minute. About 1 minute. So finish up those important emails, text messages, everything else you're working on so you can stay fully focused for next 45 to 50 minutes and get the most out of today's call. So we're going to get started very shortly. Talk to you very soon. Okay, here we go. And welcome to the MAPS Language of Sales Building Instant Rapport webinar. My name is Ron Wexler. I'm a real estate agent in Chicago. I've been an agent for 36 years. And in 2017, my team closed 240 plus units, 52 million in volume. And I'm excited about teaching this class. Let me just start off with a couple of easy things. First of all, if you're on the webinar and you can hear me, why don't you just type into your question box? We're not going to have an open mic, but if you'll just type in your question box that you can actually hear me, if we can get some yeses, some hellos, maybe tell me where you're from, that would be great. All right. All right. They're checking in from Phoenix, Vancouver, New Jersey, Boston. Gotta love that. Nebraska, Birmingham, Chicago, Florida. Love it. All right. So we got the whole country covered. All right. That's great. Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate that. All right. So for next 30 to 40 minutes, we're going to cover a few things. And I just want to give you an idea what they're going to be. First, I'm just going to tell you very quickly who we are and what we're about. I'm going to share a little bit about my experience with this whole program and system. And then we're going to spend the bulk of our time. I'm going to actually teach you the rapport building technique that is incredible and will instantly help you make money like right now today. So it's not the whole course. It's not everything. It's one of the great techniques that we use that's going to make a big difference. So be ready to really focus, pay attention, turn off the distractions, like really be here with me for the next 45 minutes so you'll get the most you can out of this course. Just to give you an idea, I've been coaching agents for about the last 13 years. Diana Kokoska, who runs MAPS, came up to me. We were at a program together. Actually, I think we were in Boston. I know there's people from Boston on the line. We were in Boston, and she said, I want you and Kate Patulski to teach this language of sales course. And I got the biggest smile on my face because it's one of my favorite classes. Even though I've taught lots of other classes, I've never had the opportunity to teach this one. And I said to Diana, what's really funny about that is that when I first took this course, I had such powerful results. I ended up taking it several times, over and over and over again. I literally took it for 18 straight months. And I said, it just instantly, I started getting more business, and people I talked to started saying yes faster, and price reductions were easier. Pricing it right at the listing appointment was easier, and good commissions were easier. Like everything became easier when I learned to speak using the language of sales, and I use that for my communication. I know it's hard to even understand what I'm saying because I'm from Chicago, but the bottom line is when you use it, it works. And so Diana asked me if I would do this with Kate. And now the excitement about being in business with Kate and doing a course with her is she and I have been friends, and her husband, Ron, we've been friends for 30 some years. And what's amazing about them is they've spent all their time studying the mind, studying how people's brains react to certain things, teaching, performance coaching. They've owned real estate offices. They're investors in real estate offices. They're real experts on how the human mind works, to the extent that Kate actually is a head coach, that her job is actually coaching coaches on how to live a better life and how to help agents grow. So the fun part of this is I get to be in business with and teach a class with someone who I have a ton of respect for. And sometimes I feel like she's the professor and I'm the assistant. And it's really funny because she's just so incredible at this. And together, I have more practical experience of actually being out there every day working with buyers and sellers, and she has the practical experience of the communication and taking and teaching courses on it. So the bottom line is, when you decide to take this course, you're going to get a lot out of it. And if you never take this course, you're going to get something good just out of what we do today. Okay? So here's what I'm going to ask you. For our call today, play full out. Really focus on what we're doing. We're going to do a couple short exercises mixed in with what we're covering. Actually do them. Like, don't just listen in and kind of be a passive observer. Play the game with me. Type in questions, be involved, really be involved in what we're doing, and you're going to get a ton out of it. Okay? So let me just ask, does that sound good to everybody? I'm just going to look for some yeses, hopefully. Everyone else is going to hang up. No, I'm just kidding. All right. All right. I love it. So it looks like we've got everybody really committed to playing full out. All right. So let's start with, what is the definition of the word rapport? Okay. So when two people have a good, synchronized, trusting, safe, connected relationship where they're able to understand each other's needs, ideas, and feelings, they're in rapport, right? And what I always say is, when I'm in great rapport with a client, they trust me, and just as importantly, they do what I ask, right? They actually listen to what I have to say, and they respect my opinion, and they feel in sync and comfortable with me. So the goal in learning to build greater rapport is to cause clients to feel comfortable with me and my recommendations. And for all of us, it's to take our careers to the next level through basically relating to others easily. You're going to sell more homes in less time with less objections, less resistance, right? And more comfort for everyone involved. So it's going to be a lot more connected relationship. And when you go on an appointment, you're going to walk out feeling connected, and it's less of a battle because you're really in it together. And, the ultimate goal is to live a better life because communication is just easier, right? That's our goal. When we communicate well, life is good, things go great. So for next, say, 25, 30 minutes, I'm going to be sharing the strategies that allow you to become more effective in your ability to influence your prospects, clients, and staff, right? And honestly, you're going to use it with everyone in your life when you see how easy it is. The fact that you decided to join this session illustrates your belief that possessing an ability to influence will allow you to take your real estate career to the next level and make more money easier. That is what everyone wants, right? So the question is, have you ever noticed that some people just naturally have others listen to them at a higher level? The people who never met a stranger, they're instant best friends with everybody they meet. Does it seem like they're just blessed with some secret power? I always say it's like they have the force, right? I'm the salesperson you're looking for. I mean, they just have it. It's instant. And we kind of think or assume that it's something they were naturally born with. And what I'm going to share with you is this is how you get it. If you weren't fortunate enough to be born with it, there is a way to develop it in yourself. So most likely they know how to communicate with people in a way that causes others to feel good about making decisions and about taking action. So let's just do a quick exercise. On a blank piece of paper, write down two things for me. Write down what you believe will happen in your business when you and your clients have instant trust and rapport. What will happen in your business when you have instant trust and rapport? Now, write down a guesstimate of how many people you spoke to in 2017 that you were unable to really connect with, right? So people you spoke to that didn't choose to work with you, who wouldn't speak with you or let you share with them, or maybe they met with you and they just rejected. They decided not to work with you. So just take a guess at how many people per week you think you talked to, bumped into, had a conversation with, or couldn't even get to respond to you just write that number down, say on a weekly basis. And then to make it even more painful, multiply it times 52. And let's say that would be a whole year. So if it was one person per week, right, that would be 52 people that you could have connected with that you didn't, right? If it's 2 people a week, it would be 104 people. If it was 3 people a week, it'd be 156. So write that number down. And let's just say you're just learning and you're not that great at building rapport yet, right? So let's say it only gets you doing it this way and learning to connect the way we talk about gets you to a closing table 10% more than you were before. So take 10% of the number that you wrote down, right? So 52 becomes 5, 104 becomes 10, 156 becomes 15, right? Let's just assume that that's how many transactions more you would have done, even if you were just fairly good at this, not great at it, but just if you kind of got this. All right, now multiply that number that you came up with times your average commission. Now type that in the box for me, right? So if your number was 52, you would go to 5, and your average commission is 5,000. That's 25,000 more you would have made if you could connect stronger with people. So I just want to see some numbers people are coming up with. I've got an 85,000, a 54,000, a 75,000, 260,000. You might win the prize for that one. 45, 32.5, right? I mean, everyone understands that if we were better at what we do, there's a huge chunk of money on the table, 130,000. Here's what I'm going to share with you. Someone says 1.6 million with the word ouch after it. I love that. So think about it this way. We know that we're already talking to those people. See, it wouldn't have taken any more effort or hardly any more time to capitalize on this giant amount of money that you're thinking about. Because you already made the effort. You already talked to the people. You already, to me, just getting to the contact is the hardest part. Once you connect with them, you're on your way. So I'm just going to share for me what it looks like. And it's interesting. That number that you wrote down is why I want you to really focus on this call. That's the kind of money that I want to see happen for you. And I've been teaching the language of sales now. We're going into the second year. And I get messages from people all the time who've taken the class. In fact, a lot of them take it 2-3 times. Every time they take it, they get better at it. And the messages I get are things like, I sold 15 more houses last year just because of what I learned in this class. It's things like that, that's the impact we want to have. So that's why I want you to really play deep with this. So I'm just going to share one of my numbers from one of my years, right? I had this one year when I was a cold calling maniac. I was 2 phones at the same time, dialing both phones, talking on one, hanging up on the other, calling them back, things like that. I mean, it was hardcore. And I spoke to 12,000 people that year. And out of the 12,000 people, I ended up with 121 closed transactions. And at that time, my average commission was around $4,500. So that year, I made about $545,000. So keeping it simple and not going deep into formulas, let's just say out of the 12,000 contacts, I probably had 1,000 great conversations. The 1,000 great conversations turned into the 121 closings. And I know there's a few steps in between, but let's just simplify. So here's the thing. With language of sales, what if I converted even 5% of the remaining 11,000 or an additional 585 people? And if 10% of that group turned into closings, for me, that would have been 58 more transactions or $261,000. Just kind of let that sink in. And I'll throw this in. What was interesting is the next year, I talked to 4,500 people, not 12,000, 4,500, and closed 131 transactions. So I had, or 132 it might have been, but I had 10 or 11 more sales and talked to a third of the people. And guess what happened in that year with the 12,000? It just so happens to coincide with me taking language of sales. So that's the power of it. So let me just state one more thing, right? When you're using language of sales, you really do get people to act and get off wherever they're stuck. And some people think it's about manipulation. So let's just be really clear, right? The definition of manipulation is exerting shrewd or devious influence, especially for one's own advantage. We're not using the MAPS language of sales power for the dark side, right? We are using it to help people make decisions, and I love that slide, to help get people to make decisions and move forward. That is the goal. That's what we want to have happen. So we're learning to connect with people in a way that causes them to act instead of procrastinate, and cause them to choose you because you're a force for good and want to help them get what they want. Not what you want, what they want. So can I just get a few yeses? Does this sound good to you? Okay, just make sure we're all on the same page. So let's proceed, right? Let's just go ahead and learn one quick method, and this is called instant rapport building, and it's from the MAPS language of sales. And let's consider that even in this day of texting and emailing, you're going to set most of your appointments verbally over the phone. So being incredible on the phone is important. The method I'm going to teach you works every time, and the more you focus on and use it, the better your results are going to be. And what I mean by it works every time is that you will get into rapport with people quickly. It doesn't mean every single person on the planet you talk to is going to sign up with you. It just means you're going to get into rapport quickly. Oh, one other thing. You have to be comfortable being very uncomfortable at the beginning when you first learn this, right? It's going to require you to put aside the need to look good and have to be okay with stumbling because you're learning something new. And at the beginning, it won't feel natural. Once you've internalized it, it will. So think of it this way. The class is called the MAPS language of sales, right? And part of the course is learning new language and language patterns and new ways to communicate it. And think about the last time you learned a new language, right? I don't know about you, but it took me a lot of repetition, practice, and focus to learn to become good at it. That's why it's a 12-week course, and it's not something you come in for an afternoon and learn. So here we go. You're on the phone. Your goal is to have the person on the other end instantly like and want to communicate with you. So let me tell you first what to do and then why it works. And I want you to everybody just take a deep breath and just stay with me here. This is incredible. So when you call someone, instead of insisting on them liking you for who you are, you're going to be like them. People relate to people like them. They like people like them. They trust people who are like them. So you're going to be like them. So think about it. Have you ever received a call from a telemarketer whose dialect was intensely different from yours? They spoke faster, slower, an accent, just something different from you. Just type in the box. Am I the only one who's had that experience, or have we all had that experience? Okay, so a lot of people have had it. And how did you feel about that? Did you feel connected to them or disconnected from them? Right. Okay, so we're on the same page. Everybody says disconnected. You know, it was intense, right? You just wanted to hang up. So here's the thing. People who speak fast think people who speak slow are dumb, right? And people who speak slow think people who speak fast are sneaky or untrustworthy. They judge them immediately. They automatically, people who speak slow automatically think when you speak fast that you're trying to put something over on them. Well, your phone communication is just like that. You know, how would you like it if when they answered, instead of reacting to you like a telemarketer, you got the second hello or the, hey, how are you? Like you do with your friends. You know, you call a friend and you say, hello, and they hear your voice and you sound like them and they say, hello. And then they say, hey, how are you? This is what we want, right? That's instant rapport. You could have someone that you're in rapport with that you haven't talked to in 20 years, and when they call you, you go to instant rapport. That's what we want. So pay attention because this is it. This is how we're going to get there. You dial the phone. As soon as they answer the phone, instead of diving into your script, you're going to intensely focus on their voice, their rate of speech, their volume, their tone, any accent that they might have. you're going to repeat back to them whatever greeting they used when they answered in your closest imitation of them. Not only that, you're going to stay there with them like that for the first 3 to 5 sentences of the conversation. So here's what it looks like. They say, hello. You say, hello, this is Ron Wexler with Apple Realty. I was calling because I saw you had your home for sale by owner. Or they say, hi. You say, hi, this is Ron Wexler with Apple Realty. I saw you were looking at one of our listings online. All right, so right away, you only have one of two reactions to what I just shared. Your inner voice said, no way, never. They will know. They will catch me. I can't do it. I'm smooth and people like me, and maybe I'm just too cool to do this other stuff. Or maybe your reaction was, I'll try it. Ron's coached thousands of agents. Diana and Kate have worked with thousands of people. Between the three of them, they've sold, 10,000 homes or something like that, right? Diana and Kate are two of the greatest communicators ever. They're the ones who helped put this all together. Maybe your reaction can be to not react, but take a chance and be comfortable being uncomfortable. So here's the thing. Did I just make you uncomfortable? Type in the box if the thought of doing that makes you uncomfortable. Okay, great. You guys are also honest. I love it. I've got some, it worries me, probably a little, yes, no. All right, good. So we're all over the board. So that's great. So the thing is that you're open to doing something that's going to make a difference in your business, right? So here's the thing. As soon as you try it, you'll see how powerful it is. And you have to practice it over and over with everyone to even start to internalize it. The year that I made the 12,000 contacts, halfway through that year is when I learned this. And that's when I started getting the rapport to where the next year I got better results in a third of the contacts. So when people hear someone like them, all their defenses go away. Think about how you sound like the rest of your friends and family, how you all connect instantly. They will like you, connect with you, and communicate with you. And that's what happens when you choose to be there like them instead of expecting them to relate to you. You can use this method in person to some extent. If people speak soft, you can speak soft. If they lean in, you can lean in. If they fold their arms, you can fold your arms. In person, we call it mirroring and matching. So either way, what I'll share is this is one of the 12 techniques that'll change your entire future when you embrace it and come play language of sales with us, right? So language of sales is a method of influencing brain behavior through the use of language. So the utilization of language patterns in our teachings through this class is designed to move your listener forward, help them reach their goals and objectives. Remember, not yours. Ultimately, your objective is to help them sell a house, right? So help people get what they want and you get what you want. Let's look at some facts behind that become useful in communication. When you become more effective in your use of language, you cause your listener to choose you, work with you, hire you, join your team, take action that gets them to their goals, right? You get the point. You can just connect with a limited number of people who communicate exactly like you, or you can choose today to work on mastering your language skills, allowing you to increase your closed transactions and your market share. So mostly I think of it as getting more yeses. That's really what's behind it. I want more yeses, right? A lot of the top performers I'm with Keller Williams, a lot of the top performers in the Keller Williams world, not only do they take the class over and over, but they put their whole teams through the course. The Lance Loken team, I think they had 4 or 5 million in commissions last year. Their whole team takes it over and over and over again. They want more yeses with less effort. So the question is, would you like to learn more techniques like this that will make a massive difference in your life and in your business? And I'm wondering, what is the price you're paying right now for your current skill set? What is the price where you're safe and comfortable and you feel okay? What are you paying for that? And actually, I'm thinking earlier you figured out the potential lost business just by a little piece of this. What is that dollar amount? Look at how much that is. And are you willing to do something a little uncomfortable so that you can start capturing some of that? So you've got to think about what is the cost of your current skill or your lack of language or sales skills, right? The best communicators know that investing your time and resources and mastering your language skills is what gives you an enormous payoff. So before I go further, what questions do you have? I have a little more to share with you. Does anybody have any specific questions right now based on what we've talked about? You just type them in the box. And if not, that's okay. If I just so thoroughly covered everything you could be concerned about, that's really cool. All right. So what we're doing is extending an invitation to you to join us for the 12 weeks Language of Sales course. It begins April 11th. Okay, we have a good question. I'm going to come back to that. It begins April 11th. The calls are all at 1 o'clock Central Time. They're always on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock Central Time. So it's easy to remember. Wednesday at 1, you always have a Language of Sales call. And starting April 11th. The calls are recorded, so if you miss the live class, you can still participate and you can review the sessions over and over again. And then we also have, what's been really amazing is we have a Facebook group, closed group, only for the people in the course at that time. And everybody really gets to sharing their experiences. You know, everybody messes us up and has a funny story about something they did, you know, that just had a terrible ending, or sometimes something they did terrible had a funny ending. So everybody's on there sharing. They're sharing, actually you have homework every week. They're sharing the results of their homework. So throughout the 12 weeks, basically we introduce a language pattern within the strategies of influence through building rapport. You learn to align your mindset and your skills into an intentional set of behaviors that allow you to dramatically increase your effectiveness. Simply put, you'll learn to speak a language that causes people to want to work with you. All right, let me answer a couple of the questions here. All right, one of the obvious questions, you know, I'm a typical salesman. I didn't even mention the price. The price is $396 for the 12 weeks. And I'm working with MAPS right now, and I think we're going to be sending everyone who signed up for the webinar an email, and I believe it's going to give you like a 20% discount. So I don't know why we have to do that, because I think we should be charging like $10,000. But the bottom line is you're going to sign up at mapslos.com, www.mapslos.com, and don't do it until we send you that link for the discount. That'll probably be by the end of the day tomorrow. So throughout that series, we're going to work on language patterns. You're going to be able to interact with us on the Facebook page. It's very active, and we're interacting the whole time on the Facebook page. So it's $396. The classes are Wednesdays at 1. Let me answer a couple of these questions. So someone says, just starting out, I'm nervous and it shows. How do you get over it? Right? That's a great question. You know, we always hear fake it till you make it. I honestly believe, because when I first started, I didn't even know like one house style from the next. I knew nothing about real estate. And I definitely had to fake it till I made it. What I did was basically just got in rapport with people. I just found people that liked me and were willing to work with me. And I was just honest with them, right? I just told them, hey, I'm kind of new, but I'm going to fight to the death to get you your price or to find you the perfect home. I just let them know that I was in it with them. At the beginning, when you're using these language patterns and everything, understand you're uncomfortable because you're using them and doing something new. They don't know what you normally sound like. So it doesn't really matter that you're uncomfortable. They're just going to, however you sound is how you sound. And if you're focused on sounding like them, they're going to be so comfortable with you. It's amazing. And I'll just share, when I was doing it and I got really great at it, it was in that year with the 12,000 contacts, I knew it was amazing because I get a kid that would answer the phone, and I would do it with that kid. And the kid would say, Mom, Dad's on the phone. Or you'd get the wife and she's like, oh, honey, what time are you coming home for dinner? And I was like, because everyone sounds like each other in their families, right? So what I found was I absolutely was in such good rapport, they literally thought I was part of their tribe. So just know that you're just going there and being with people as they are and be comfortable with them and they'll be comfortable with you. All right, somebody said, what if you go too far with the mirroring and they feel you're mocking them? Here's what I'm going to tell you. In all the thousands and thousands and thousands of calls that I've done using this, it has never, ever, ever happened. So it's a story that we make up in our mind, but they won't think that you're imitating them or anything else. They'll just feel comfortable with you. And this is where the blind faith and just doing it comes in. Just go do it and watch what happens. Just go do it. Don't be afraid to do it. And, just we used to have so much fun. We'd stand next to other agents and we'd all lead generate together and they'd turn to me and go, hey, what was the nationality of that guy you just hung up with? And it was because I didn't even sound like I was a guy from Chicago anymore. And so, just know it's okay for you to do it. No one's going to catch you. No one's going to say, are you imitating me? And I'm not saying you should start speaking broken English when you do it, right? You're matching their tonality, their rate of speech. It doesn't mean you completely break down. All right. Somebody said, can you give one tip away? Not just tell us what we will get with the course. Just give us something. This is all sales for the course. All right. Well, ultimately, that was the purpose, is this to get you to understand the course. And here's what I would say. Go make 20 phone calls right now and use the one technique I just taught you. When they answer the phone, you say the exact word that they say. The exact word. Don't just do because you always say hi, say hi. They say hello, you say hello. They say yo, you say yo. They say hey, you say hey. However they answer the phone, go be there with them as they are. You go do that and then email me, ron@ronwexler.com, and let me know how that works, because I think you'll be surprised. Someone just asked, what do you do when someone says you're new? And I want to use one of the top agents in the neighborhood. Again, you have to they're going to know you're new. That's all I can tell you. One of my favorite times ever, I was up against this guy who was the big name in our neighborhood. And I just said, did you see Mike's car when he was here? And they said, yeah. I said, you realize his car is worth almost as much as your house? I said, did you see my car? Who's going to work harder for you? Someone who, basically has already made it and it's kind of, easy for them, or someone who's every day worried about feeding his wife and kids? Now, obviously, you wouldn't say that with everyone. You have to feel some rapport with them, but don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid to do that. It never bothered me to say I was new if it was obvious in the conversation. Otherwise, I just acted, I just had a fixed listing presentation that didn't address that or talk about that. And when you do a great listing presentation, when you use language of sales, honestly, what's going to happen is that you're going to be in such good rapport. All the objections they give you when they're not in rapport with you go away, and they just sign with you. They just hire you. They like you and they hire you. So again, you're going to have some blind faith with that, but that's why we all learn scripts and dialogues. That's what it's for. All right. So I don't want to keep you too much longer. I don't see a whole lot more questions coming in. Oh, it says, okay, how do you help agents who use English as a second language? Actually, it's perfect. Because if you're going there with them and being like them, you don't get to be like you. You have to repeat and use their words, right? So actually, it's perfect for someone. If you have a little bit of a struggle, it's ideal. And the truth is, I think it's easier because you have to do it. You don't really have any choice if you really want to make it work. All right. So mapslos.com. 12 weeks, it's $396, and I believe you're going to be getting a discount code. With or without the discount code, you should take this course because it's going to make a huge difference in your business. And it's Wednesdays at 1 starting April 11th. And I appreciate all of you taking time out of the middle of your day to come play with me. And I hope to see you all on April 11th. If you do have direct questions for me, it's okay if you want to message me direct. My email is ron@ronwexler.com. And I would be glad to converse with you. And I know a lot of you probably are on Facebook with me. And if you want to message me there too, feel free. It makes a big difference. I'm glad I get to teach it. I'm excited I get to teach it with Kate, and I know it's going to make a big difference in your business. So thank you so much for being here, and look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. Take care.